Trap squad, 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 trap squad. Hey, clickbaity political. Yeah, thirst trap, trap squad, squirrel squad. Our mission is critical to speak the truth to the masses. Yeah. We here for the fight. We ain't started, but we here to finish it. Sick and tired of seeing the privilege. Take advantage of the weak and the innocent. So we let our voice be heard. Every single weeknight. Unapologetic. Yeah. Black people, despite this white supremacist system that we live through on a daily, we still throwing up those acorns cause we represent clickbaity. Yeah. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad, trap squad, clickbaity trap, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad. Throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad. Yeah, I see you, yeah, I see you. Trap squad, trap squad. Trap squad, trap squad. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Mundell Robinson. I am one half of Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. I will be joined a little later by Marcus, hopefully. This is going to be an extremely short show. You guys know that we are trying to get back in the swing of things. We're moving around. There are a lot of things popping off out there in the world. So I did want to show my face. I haven't seen you all in a while. Squirrel Gang, we missed y'all. Also, it's Thursday, which means it's the weekend, or kind of like the weekend for me, because this is the last show of the week. And for me, it's the first show of the week. So without further ado, since we already kept you all waiting way too long, we're supposed to be here at 6:45. We should jump right into the news because I don't feel like joking this morning because there's so much crazy shit going on in our world. Let's talk about Haiti. I know we spend a lot of time talking about American politics, and I don't think talking about Haiti is divorced completely from American politics. Since we know America has a major role in Haiti being one of its closest neighbors in the world, but also one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere. That is not by mistake. That is by design. America and France has a great deal to do with the fact that Haiti is having problems feeding its citizens. But because of Haiti's lack of resources, its inability to feed itself and also its citizens, Haiti finds itself in what's about to be a hunger crisis, an economic crisis, and now a serious government crisis because Haiti's president was, I'm sorry, my Siri's trying to talk to me. Haiti's president was murdered a couple nights ago at his home, at his private residence. Some gunman ran in his house and killed him as if it was a movie. It's been crazy right now. The state issued a state of emergency. So most of Haiti is in lockdown. Haiti police has claimed that they have killed 4 people already in the shootout with the gunman. And 2 of the people have been arrested. And they will continue until all of these people have been caught. The crazy part about this is the ramifications of people exploiting the poor, exploiting power so as to maintain control. Mr. Moise, the past president who was assassinated in Haiti, has been president for over a year now by order, an order that he issued, which basically means that he is doing away with free elections. He had done away with free elections only to maintain or to hold on to power. This is what happens when people are frustrated. This is what happens when people aren't fed, when the government's not serving its people or can't serve its people. And it's also what happened when America, even though people will say that America gives Haiti more than any other country in aid, I think that's short-sighted and also it's ill-fated. No one is talking about America not holding France responsible for the amount of money it's extracting from Haiti. So this is not a political crisis completely. This is also a humanitarian crisis. This is also the failure of, and this is going to sound like a stretch, but you need to know this, a failure of people afraid to hold colonizing nations like France and America accountable. And it's also partly related to, directly related to what happened when Haiti won its freedom. America and all white nations stopped doing business with Haiti, which at time Haiti was the richest country in the northern hemisphere because somebody said morning. Hold on one second. Somebody said morning Marcus. Am I seeing something that I don't know about? Ronak, I think you're drunk, sis. This is Mundell, not Marcus. Anyway, uh, like I said, this is a direct correlation. There should be a direct correlation made between Haiti and its role in winning its freedom, becoming the first nation, black nation, to win its freedom from the colonizing European nations. Because at that time, when Haiti won its freedom, it was the richest nation due to its export of rum. Um, well, America stopped doing business with Haiti, Britain, and also France and other European nations, which then sent this country into extreme poverty. And we should also note that France made Haiti pay reparations for its freedom. So that happened. America supported that. America supports that because they've not said anything to France about the monies that it extracted from Haiti. So all of this is directly related. Don't let people make you believe that this happened in some type of silo. America has its hand in it. America is partly responsible, if not directly, indirectly. And therefore, America and other NATO and other organizations should definitely be sending troops or not troops, aid to Haiti right now in a serious way, so as to make sure that the people of Haiti can have a government that's steady and also stable, and also folk have enough to eat in the time of crisis. We know Haiti has not been completely stable since the earthquake that happened over 10 years ago, and also the storm that followed. So we as Black people in the diaspora owe a special thank you to the Black folk, the descendants of Toussaint and the Overture in Haiti, because we know a lot of our ancestors saw what happened in Haiti and were motivated by that fact. And it also created a lot of fear in white people in this country that Black Americans will also Black Americans would also win their freedom. So they kept beefing up the military here. So we're not disconnected from what happened in Haiti. And nor should we disconnect ourselves from this tragedy that's taking place right now, which threatening the government that was already unstable. Because in Haiti's government, when something happens to the president, the second person in charge should be the Supreme Court judge, the chief judge of the Supreme Court. Well, they don't have one of those right now. And because the president was supposed to appoint him, and then also they have an acting prime minister. So the government in Haiti is in shambles right now, coupled with the economic crisis and also the humanitarian crisis that's happening in that country. There's serious political unrest. There's protests happening right now, and it's definitely our job to keep our eyes on that. That is serious, y'all. That is serious news. A lot of the time, what we get in America is not serious news. We get news about Donald Trump's son being much taller than his mom and shit like that from our leading news agents. But what we don't get is we don't get the shit that talks about we had warning signs. Y'all, Americans had warning signs of what was going to happen on January 6th. This is a switching of the subject. We had warning signs that January 6th was going to happen, and it happened in October 30th. I don't know if y'all remember this, but we talked about this on the show when Donald Trump's the Trump train tried to stop the Biden's campaign in Austin, Texas, when these people rolled up on a campaign bus, and ran them off the road and tried to end their lives. I don't know if y'all remember that or not. That was a warning sign. That was what was going to happen on January 6th. Had the government not reinstated Donald Trump as president And they didn't, and we saw what happened in January 6th. We know that was a warning sign now because details from this lawsuit that has been filed is coming out, and it's saying that we should have used this. We should have known that these people were going to be able to or be willing to do anything, even kill, to maintain Donald Trump's presidency. When we didn't do that, when we didn't say anything about that, we allowed these people motivation to do what they did on January 6th. And when I say we, I'm only talking about those who in power in the government, those in the federal government, state governments who refuse to do exactly what they needed to do to tamper down this it's this interborn terrorism. Marcus, what do you got to say about that? I know y'all don't see Marcus, but he's here drinking his coffee.
Good morning, everybody.
What's up, man? I just been running my damn mouth on my nerd shit.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I let you go off by yourself, and you start giving these theses that America needs. So I'm not even mad at it. I'm not even mad at it.
You know me.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious that from what happened with this case and this investigation and all the things that have happened since January 6th, the only thing I have to say about this is, I mean, we can find out whatever information that we want to find out when they go into jail, right? There's a lot more people that are supposed to be in jail. That's it. That's all I got to say about it. Like, the amount of arrests that I saw in comparison to the amount of people that were at the Capitol is still nowhere. It's still nowhere near it. And if it were black people or indigenous people or Mexican people or Latinx people or however anything else besides, white people, straight white people, then there would have been thousands of arrests much, 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 much faster. But the criminal justice system tends to work for us, and it tends to let white men go on vacation and things like that before they get trial or do crazy stuff like have a all natural meal or all vegan meal, right? If there's one thing to complain about it, Mondale, I've been struggling with something, bro, and this is recent. Also, real quick, buddy in our inbox, buddy that keeps talking to us on YouTube, we see you. You called us moist. Go start your own show because But I've been struggling with something real quick, Mondale, and that is this right here. How do we keep doing things the same way and expecting different results, right? And I say that when it comes down to the Justice Department. I say that when it comes down to the criminal justice system. I say that when it comes down to the Democratic Party. How do we expect accountability out of the people we elect? How do we expect accountability out of the criminal justice system? That's something that I just want to ask you, man, because we know that there's a difference between the January 6th rioters, insurrectionists, terrorists, and black folks who went to the same place and got arrested immediately by the criminal justice system, right? How can we make sure it's accountable to all people? How can we make sure that when we elect somebody that they actually do what they're supposed to do for us? What's the solution, bro? Like,
unelect those who aren't. I think people forget that the key mechanism to getting accountability out of politicians is to get rid of them when they're not responsible or responding to the cries of their constituents. And I think so many times we don't use elections as tools to teach lessons to politicians. We use them as not even weapons at all. And if they are weapons, they're cotton weapons or water guns. We should really eliminate people's political career. Especially those like James Clyburn should be a great example. We should get rid of James Clyburn. And the way we do that is work effectively outside of the party structure to get rid of folk who are not listening to us. I think that's the only political weapon that make politicians listen to you. When the Republican Party saw their number 3 Republican or the Republican in charge in the House lose an election a few years back because of the Tea Party challenger in the primary, who didn't win, they were frightened. They were super frightened. And I think what happened was we see as a result, we got Donald Trump and all of this Trumpism. They figured they don't want to lose power to the people that are to the right of them. So they just go along with it. I think we need to be to the left of the Democratic Party and get rid of those who aren't coming along. We need to spark fear. We spark fear in primaries when we can defeat them, where the party does not know how to turn out black and brown voters, where the party has no control over black and brown voters. And we know for a fact some Democrats will get on TV, or they won't get on TV. They'll get in private meetings and tell people in the Democratic Party, we don't need to expand the electorate. We don't want to be accountable to more people. We like low turnout voters elections because it benefits them to not have to answer to more people. So the more people participating in democracy, it's bad for punk ass Republicans and punk ass Democrats alike.
Right. So I ask these questions because the CBC yesterday endorsed is her name Chantel Brown, the sister that is running against Nina Turner. The CBC PAC, of course, right? They're problematic PAC that is corporate driven. And Chantel, like Sister Chantel, I'm a Nina supporter, but Sister Chantel, all money ain't good money. Like, know that. You know what I mean? I know this is your first foray into national politics, but she is accepting endorsements from, she got endorsed by Clyburn. She got endorsed by Hillary Clinton. She got endorsed by the CBC PAC, right? And what does all that sound like? That sounds like the establishment trying to come and really plant their, stake their flag in the ground to make sure that Nina doesn't make it to Congress. Now, Nina's going to win anyway. Chantel, they're going to have to do a lot of spending, and Nina's going to literally have to stop raising money, and that's not about to happen, right? One thing about the Bernie Sanders machine is that they're going to raise money. One thing about Nina machine is she's going to raise money. I mean, she's a firebrand herself. Now, my thing is right here, whoever runs the CBC PAC, it's the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus. It's a slap in the face if the Congressional Black Caucus decides that it wants to get involved into a race where there is 2 black women in a primary. It lets you know that the Congressional Black Caucus PAC is biased, is corporate driven, and it should renounce its name. The Congressional Black Caucus PAC should be called the We Do Work for White People PAC.
Or all skinfolk and kinfolk PAC.
Yeah, but I mean, no, I mean that's an acknowledgement. Like, I much rather them just say what they are, because they are so afraid of this woman, and I want America to know this. They are so afraid of Nina Turner that they are literally running to get the biggest endorsements. And then think about how many people.
But for me though, who gives a fuck about Hillary Clinton and Clyburn? I mean, Nina Turner got in
Ohio 11th district.
Yeah. I mean, listen, to me, this sister accepting those, or this sister like bragging or posting about these endorsements, shows me that she is as disconnected as they are. Yes, a massive PAC. That's a dope one.
Yeah, it is.
I think they're clueless about the time and also the power that they lack. This is a wonderful opportunity next month during this election for us to show progressives, to show them that y'all ain't the fucking cat's meow. Like, the fact that they don't get that you putting up Clyburn and Hillary Clinton against Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar's name, Rashida Tlaib, and other progressives, Ayanna Presley. You're not fucking son. That ain't you. Those ain't the endorsements you should be chasing. The CBC and also Hillary Clinton and James Clyburn. This is the old guard against the young guard, and it's a wonderful fucking opportunity to see them get their ass mollywop. And it speaks to what I'm talking about. This is a smack in the face to establishment. Last year, progressives who were for defund the police did not lose elections. Milk toast white Democratic candidates, and you don't need to be white to be white-minded. Candidates lost elections. In Florida, on the ballot was $10 an hour. That shit passed. Guess what didn't pass? Weak-ass Democrats lost seat. Not progressives, weak-ass Democrats lost seats. So I'm super excited about this challenge. I'm glad Clyburn put his name up there. I'm glad Hillary Clinton put her name up there. It just equals more L's for them. People are about to learn that James Clyburn is not a black person whisperer, and his fucking influence don't go nowhere further in the black community than his church and his fucking front yard, period. And niggas ain't moving because Clyburn said, I endorsed this person. We don't give a fuck about Clyburn, especially when he threw out qualified immunity in the damn police reform bill even before we start negotiating.
Yeah. Though we bring him up quite a bit, he's the worst.
He's the worst.
I mean, and I got somebody hit me up and said, well, what about his civil rights bona fides? He lost them. He might have did something in the 60s and 70s. He is dare I say it, Clyburn is the biggest impediment to black progression in the history of American politics.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about it. I dare I say, without racist intentions, he has reactions to bold policies like Bull Connor. His reactions are aggressively destroy any progressive movement for the black community. And I can no longer cap with that. And I don't think you should either. I don't think you should either. His time has come. His time has come and gone, and there's a video, Dwayne. I don't know if you're I know you're about to take off, but I don't know if you're still here. But there's a video of a young brother in South Carolina who lives in this district, and this is to all the people. This is to all the people who say, "Oh well, his district wants him." Everybody in Clyburn's district doesn't necessarily want Clyburn to be elected. Yeah, so you know, I'm not necessarily certain. All I know is that him interjecting himself into this in this Ohio 11 race, I mean, just shows you how intentionally I'm going to do the bidding in this proxy war for you, Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do the bidding for you in this proxy war, Joe. Right? And what's going to be unfortunate is that, like, this is going to be the first blatant loss of the establishment since Hillary in 2016. And celebrate.
Well, I think well, you got to count some of them, like what happened with the defeat of in the 6th congressional district with Jamal Bowman.
Well,
that was I mean like that too.
Yeah, but
hold on. I mean, the reason I said that, Marcus, is because the CBC wants to fucking get. You remember we were screaming about this. The CBC endorsed the white candidate in that race against Jamal Bowman. They could have sat their ass out that race if they wanted to stick with their friend Elliott, who was in Congress for 30 years but didn't live in that district, right? He lived in Maryland. He had a house in Maryland, has a house in Maryland, and that's where he was, right? So the fact that you know they chose to endorse a white candidate against a black candidate, and the black candidate was born and raised in the district, still living in the district, and also Not to mention, he has a track record and a story that looks just like the district, right? So this too is another defeat for them. It just continues to show that they will no power over our community, and I don't think they've ever pretended that they care about it. I mean, the pack doesn't listen. The pack doesn't poll black people in a way beyond white pollsters. I'm talking about they don't take the ideas of black people or the pain of black people and push it forward for their community. Shit, the group that's doing that is so small. It's just called the squad, right? The
Right.
squad is pushing the needs and the ills of black and brown communities at the forefront of Congress, not the Congressional Black Caucus. And that's disgusting, especially when you consider, Marcus, here's how we knew that the Congressional Black Caucus wasn't going to be what it should have been or what it should be. They allow Republicans to sit with them. And people might say, well, it's Congress Black Caucus. So the Congressional Black Caucus, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus has in their bylaws that you must be a Democrat to be a part of their caucus, right? So the fact that they're already the Hispanic Caucus, voting wise, Hispanics are not as progressive as black people. We know they split closer to 50-45, the 45-55 line, and we're 80-90 Democrats. But this caucus, the Hispanic caucus, won't allow Republicans in their caucus. The Democrats, the Black caucus, which is 90-80% voting black, you know what I'm saying, people, allow Republicans in that shit. So we already knew those motherfuckers were going to be bullshit talking about the CBC. So I'm not surprised by this endorsement. Actually, I'm surprised that they've not been spending money already, especially knowing what I know about them and how they think. This shit is par for the course, and you're right. I think Bernie's organization should rain down on this election like no other, to prove that Bernie himself can't beat the entire party, but that party itself cannot beat all of us.
I think this, Mondale, I do think that this proxy war, even though it's just one congressional seat, I think this proxy war is the most important proxy war. I think this is the most important election this year. I do.
I mean that and Atlanta's mayor.
Yeah, I mean, Kasim is the black Trump, bro, and I don't mean that in policy because I don't want Kasim coming after me online. So Kasim Reed is a hot mess, but Kasim Reed raised $20 million in 3 days. I mean, $1 million in 3 days or something like that. It's crazy. Like he's about to just go.
I mean, when he announced at his birthday party, he raised over $500,000.
That's right. At
one birthday party.
I want to get back. I do want to say one more statement about this Ohio 11, because the Black Hillary world has so much to say about this race, right? The Black establishment world has so much to say about this race, and the Black establishment world, for the most part, the gatekeeper world, they're used to winning. They're used to getting exactly what they want because they have this almost diabolical partnership with moderate whites. And they have this fantastic skill set of tricking African Americans into believing that if they support a certain candidate on their side, that their lives will be better. And it's definitely the Cosby Show generation, and I'm using that intentionally. I'm using the pop pills Cosby, like the drop pills and women's drink Cosby, right? Like they're fronting like they're good on the outside, but they're drugging you in the back room somewhere for policy. I think this is one of the most important races in Black American political history. I do. Because they need to take an L, and they need to take an L bad. They do. Say what you want about Nina. You can love her, you can hate her, and say what you want about Chantel. Because to be honest with you, I really don't have a problem with Chantel. But they need to take an L bad. And what they have been doing is they have been going and talking about Nina and the 11th, and they say, well, and they're not acknowledging this black woman. Oh, she's gonna lose because Clyburn came in. You dumb fuck. You dumb fucker. You don't seem to realize that she was a state senator, a whole ass state senator within that whole district. She was a city councilwoman in that district. She's not no outsider in her district that she's running in. There are black people, black women that are volunteering for her, and it's like y'all are almost dismissing them because y'all are dismissing the black folks who are locally supporting her that have voted her into office multiple times just because Jim Clyburn and the CBC PAC tell you to. That ain't solidarity. Y'all fuck niggas.
Listen, I think it's a wonderful opportunity again, Marcus. It's some fuck shit for sure. I just believe it's a wonderful opportunity for us as progressives to remind the party that you may believe that you are the majority because the more you're elected, but there are more progressive black people, brown people, and white progressives in the world that are not elected. Most of our base is more progressive than most of the electeds. And this is one of those opportunities where we're going to show these motherfuckers.
Let's play that clip, Dwayne.
Real quick. You spoke about the HBCUs. That's a great thing. But statistics shows that 20% of black Americans are college educated. Meanwhile, the 20% of us have a whole bunch of debt, right? The other 80% of black Americans mostly work in the service economy. So that's good for the HBCUs, but the rest of black America is pretty much being starved out. That's what I wanted to say. And on top of that, with HR 40, we were on something called Fix HR 40, where we put pressure on all of our congressional leaders to get HR 40 to the floor. We sat there for about 10 hours and watched the whole judiciary process. We saw it play out. Nancy Pelosi can bring that to the floor anytime she wants. We have been monitoring HR 40, and it's been stalled out for the most part.
You want to come to the floor, you want it to pass.
What we're trying to say, sir, is that because of public pressure, so for history, right? HR 40, right? It was introduced by John Conyers in 1987. It sat dormant for over 30 years, right?
No.
So yes, it did, sir.
Yes,
it did.
Every year.
He did introduce it every year, but it never got passed. We're talking about something almost my whole adult life. This thing never passed at all. Now there is public sentiment. There's energy behind it, right? The CBC just they did a Twitter poll. They asked us, what do you prefer? Do you prefer? Hold on a second. I'm almost done. Sir, it's all due respect. There's no emotion in this. We're just concerned.
These are facts we're presenting.
We're just highly concerned because by 2050, Black American wealth is going to be at zero. Meanwhile, other groups' wealth are going upward while our wealth is deteriorating. So we're just highly concerned. That's it. Right. We just want a better quality of life for ourselves and our children. I have 2 children myself. The tax credit is great. It's great. But after the tax child credit, it's like that's just paying the bills and that's it. It's still not helping us out of the predicament that we're in, which is concerning. So that's it. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your wisdom.
We'll address, we're gonna move on, we have to allow others.
Yeah, we move. Okay.
We're gonna move on. We in a respect of time, we have to allow others to speak. Motherfucker, you didn't answer that. You didn't respond to that. Respond to that fucking comment.
we
gotta move on. We gotta move on now. We gotta move on quick.
Yeah.
That's
the
bullshit.
Mondale, you know what? Mondale, this is the 3rd highest ranking. And the last time Tuesday we had this conversation and I believe Thursday we did also with Ben. Like I don't care how many times I have to repeat this right here. He's the enemy of our people right now, man. He's the enemy of progress. He might not be a complete enemy of our people, but he's the enemy of progress for our people. And you could tell by his reactions because that in that same town hall, another brother talked to him about how to fix reparations. And he fundamentally cannot handle a one-on-one against a person who understands reparations, against a person who understands real black, the urgency of what we need to get fixed in the black community. He doesn't understand it. Well, excuse me, he might perfectly understand it, but he knows for a fact that he ain't did nothing. That young brother that just spoke eloquently about the issues of what are happening for other communities versus what are happening for our community. And if you notice, he wanted to cut him off and he wanted to move on. It's because you can't have the conversation.
He was saying what he was saying. She. He was saying what he was saying. Marcus, the brother was doing what was beautiful. And this ain't no disrespect to Divine Nine or motherfuckers like you and I, Marcus, who went to HBCUs. No disrespect, but all disrespect. We ain't the fucking majority of our community. Majority of our community aren't graduates of fucking college, bro. Cut the shit. Cut the shit. We are this motherfucker suffering. People are suffering. This is my problem with the Democratic Party always talking about the middle fucking class. First of all, let me just say something that's gonna blow the world's mind. America does not have a fucking middle class. Behind Brazil, we probably have the largest gap between the have and the have-nots. America would tell you that Brazil is a banana nation or banana republic. I would tell you America is a fucking banana republic. A government gone rogue, doing nothing for its people except for those at the fucking top. Exploitation at its best is American government. We don't have a middle class. Talking about a middle class is a fucking smoke screen for the fact that you're not trying to address the problems of majority of Americans, which are poor working people and just flat out fucking poor people. And that's what that young man was talking about when he said people are being gapped out. Most of Black America already net worth is zero. It's already zero or so fucking close to it. You shouldn't say anything different. So it's not going to be 2050 when we get there. It's already the case where we are worth a few $100s as a people. So this idea that James Clyburn standing up there with his suit, standing like a fucking used car salesman, no disrespect to used car salesman except for the greasy ones, standing up there like a greasy used car salesman, is absolutely fucking disgusting, bro. And the fact that his aide saying we need to move on now, this is the bullshit. If I was working for Clyburn when that question came up, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead and spend some time on this question. Why not? Everybody in that room, I'm looking around that room. I see my aunts, uncles, brothers, and sisters, and those are people who are living on the margins who do not have the ability to talk about what the fuck you're doing for HBCUs, and the idea that you will bring that to one of the poorest district. His district is one of the poorest district in the country. They call the I-95 the corridor of shame because of the lack of resources that the federal government and other agencies provide. It is absolutely disgusting that would be a fucking part of your conversation right now. I'm just sorry about that. That ain't to knock HBCUs and the importance of HBCUs. Shit, I'm a twice, I'm an alumni of 2 HBCUs. But what I'm saying is stop acting as if giving funds that Donald Trump took from the HBCUs back to HBCUs is the fucking answer to what's going on in our communities. It's also a part of that talented 10th mentality, which is bullshit. The saving of our community is not going to come from the 10% that is college educated. I know it's more than 10%. I'm just using W. Du Bois' analogy here. The saving of our community is addressing white supremacy and institutional racism and giving us fucking reparation, which we're owed. Point blank, period.
It kind of moves. What you just said kind of moves me into. I kind of want to move into one more topic. I don't know if you heard about this, but the Buffalo mayor's race.
Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah, the Buffalo.
Can we fight somebody on that shit?
Dog, but see, here's what I'm saying. I want to fight everybody. And I'm sorry to the sister in the chat room. Hey kids, y'all don't cuss like me. I'm sorry about that. I didn't
Wait, what happened?
No. Young woman said, "Hey Marcus, my kids be listening in the morning." Oh. I'm sorry. I'm trying to,
I would say to her, if I don't know if she's a Christian or not, and I'm not making any assumptions about your religion or that you need to be a certain religion. But Mark, sorry to interject. I want to do a little
That's
history
all right.
here. I know there's a man that black communities love. His name Jesus. You heard of him?
Yeah.
Jesus was a verbal, violent motherfucker. Jesus was to curse. The worst curse word you can call a Christian in Jesus' time was to call them Satan. That's like saying motherfucker now, right? Or something worse. Jesus cursed people out all the time. Jesus talked shit to the disciples. He cussed them out. I'm telling this sis, don't shield your kids from righteous indignation. I'm not trying to tell you how to raise your kids. I don't have any. What I am saying though, cursing is a reality, and being upset about the fuckery of the party, being upset about injustices, being upset about racism or any ism, sexism, homophobia, being upset about any of those reasons and so many more is absolutely necessary. And I wouldn't keep it from my kids. And I know people, we've been trained in respectability politics to believe that cursing shows a lack of a vocabulary or lack of emotional intelligence. But in actuality, the science says something completely different. Those who use colorful language seem to have a larger vocabulary and also are the smarter amongst us and more in touch with their emotions. So just throw that out there. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah. We need reparations. I'm sick of Rep 1. I'm sick of moderate black politicians stopping us from getting what we need to get. So like, I'm gonna give a shout out to Tim Black. I'm gonna give a shout out to Ben Dixon. I'm gonna give a shout out to Yvette and Antonio. I'm gonna give a shout out to ADOS now. And it's funny, like moderate politicians and moderate black people tried to make ADOS like some problematic thing. And now I'm slowly starting to be like, because I was listening to the wrong people. I was. There are some problematic aspects of it, but ain't nothing wrong with wanting cash payments for descendants of American slavery, man. I'm done capping at this point. And to be honest with you, ADOS is moderate and compared to where we're supposed to be. Let's talk about this Buffalo mayor's race.
I mean, I think, and go ahead, Marcus, but this Buffalo mayoral election is a continuation of what's happening in Ohio, man. Right. I mean, it's the party not reading the tea leaves. You got your ass whooped in an election. So that wasn't enough that a black woman beat your ass. So now you need to do a write-in. Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah. Man, according to this is from what is this from? News 4 Buffalo. After almost a week of speculation, Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown has announced that he will seek a write-in campaign in the November election. He says, "Let's be clear that until November, there is no mayor-elect," Brown said during Monday's press conference. "There's only one mayor of Buffalo, and that is Mayor Byron Brown." Mayor Brown took questions from the media. You can watch a portion of his, you can go to this website and watch it, right? But the Brown's campaign released a statement saying he was seriously considering a write-in. The Brown campaign claimed that hundreds of people contacted the mayor to ask him to run in the November write-in campaign, and that an equal number of people offered financial support. Last Tuesday, the presumptive mayor-elect, India Walton, defeated her four-term Mayor Brown in the primary. Results saw that Walton pulled a stunning upset, unofficially beating Brown 11,132 to 9,625. That's a whooping, really. The mayor did not concede that night, telling supporters the original plan was to wait for every vote to be counted. And India, mayor-elect, she's a Democratic socialist. She's a Democratic socialist who worked harder than Brown. She's a Democratic socialist who had more policy points than Brown. I watched that campaign. She separated herself by saying what she's going to do. And even in that brother's announcement for his write-in campaign, he didn't come up with any solutions. What he said about India was, we don't have enough time to be training a socialist, for a young socialist to be learning on the job. Well, what are you doing? Where is the establishment now, though? Where is the and I'm going to say this. Where is the moderate listen to black women crowd now? Where are y'all? Where are y'all? It seems like whenever a progressive black woman gets wronged, the same chatterbugs go quiet. What y'all need to go, y'all need permission to support black women? You need to call Clyburn or Nancy Pelosi to support black women? No. Y'all, you guys decide to do this. You guys decide to do all this kind of work only when it benefits somebody who's going to do absolutely nothing for our community. And I'm not talking about everybody, and because I'm not trying to get drugged by anybody, but sometimes we tokenize and weaponize these statements, man, and it's not fair across the board. And I'm sick of it. This guy Brown decides that he wants to do a write-in campaign, and he's so petty, and he's so angry, and he's so upset that he lost, that he's willing to lose a general election. Is there a Republican opponent in that election? I can't hear you, Mondale. Mute.
It doesn't matter. Republicans don't have a chance in Buffalo. Buffalo is people don't know this. Buffalo is one of the blackest cities so it doesn't matter. That's a Democratic stronghold, and nothing's going to change.
Yeah. So as the Trap Squad is saying right now, dude had four terms.
Exactly.
He had 4 terms. Let me tell you something. If you got 4 terms and you lose, first, no matter what happened, people are tired of you, dude. You don't own that seat. Second, shout out to Mayor India for saying that I'm a Democratic socialist. I'm not a socialist. I'm a Democratic socialist. He said it many times. And if they split the vote, then anything can happen, right? You split a vote anywhere, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
So stop. I wish y'all would stop playing games. Stop fighting proxy wars. Stop trying to define what blackness is through your lens. Stop trying to be the preacher in 1980, where you got the big car and everybody and your parishioners are poor. Because that's what these Negroes are, man. They're pimps. They're pimps. They posture for whiteness within their own political circles. The deal cutters, right? The ones that want to negotiate with the Republican Party. Can you imagine that? Now follow me now. Can you imagine that? Think about this. Clyburn works in a system that currently negotiates with the Republican Party. That means that no matter what you say, he is working with people to come to compromises to pass laws that don't benefit us. Am I lying, Mondale?
No, you're not lying. Of course not. Nobody would ever say that except for him and his elk, I should say. Except for him and his elk.
So, this Buffalo's man, we're gonna keep an eye on it. Shout out to Ben Dixon for bringing this to my attention. I thought the woman had won, and then we were just gonna just move on. But obviously, we can't have nice things. And hey, you wonder. Listen, you wonder why Trap Squad, Squirrel Gang. You wonder why we go hard on black electeds, and we don't spend a lot of time on the GOP. We don't expect anything out of the GOP. We know they're evil. Matter of fact, they're not even evil. They're just doing their thing, right? So yeah, they're doing their evil thing in comparison to the folks that we elect and the folks that come across our side of the house that are constantly trying to get anything progressive for our communities gone. We come out with HR 40. Matter of fact, HR 40 is weak and needs to get reformed. It needs to get strengthened, right? But Clyburn was against the weak sauce HR 40, and he came out with the 10, 20, 30 thing. Y'all remember? How you gonna have a moderate bill and you want to water down the moderate bill?
Because you get to listen, when your claim to fame is 50 years old, when the thing you did that made you who you are is 50 years old, then your ass should be out of everyday life. And Clyburn should be out of everyday political life. Straight up. And then you said this brother in his write-off campaign didn't come with any solutions. He can't have any fucking solutions because he's the problem. He's been the problem for the past 4 terms. The solution is to erase his ass out. The voters did that. So now he's trying to tell the voters, no. Y'all didn't really mean to unelect me. Y'all made a mistake.
Now wait a minute now.
You went too far. You didn't power.
Wait a minute now.
You did, Marcus, you didn't went too far. I'm no longer the mayor if I don't write this in. The good thing though is hopefully the good thing is people gonna look at his ass and like, then we already vote you away. Just looking at the results, man. I mean, winning a 20,000 vote election by 2,000 votes, is that 10%? Almost 10%. So that's a mollywhopping, and especially when you're the incumbent. So this is what I'm telling people: incumbency only works when you are running. You're only powerful as an incumbent in an election when the person you're running against is running the same type of election as you. If people are running like this sister did, an election where you're telling the truth about what's going on in government, if you're talking to people in a way that they can relate to, and if you're not basing your election on some white consultants' polls, then you have a pathway to victory, regardless of how much money the incumbent has, regardless of who endorsed them. So I'm super excited about the fact that it may seem that this mayoral candidate who's writing himself in, who already lost the election, has a chance of winning this election. But the people already spoke in Buffalo, and it is what it is. So this sister is the mayor-elect in my eyes.
Mondale, it's amazing to me that the only talking points that moderates have against progressives, the only talking points that they have at all against progressives is don't vote for that progressive. That's it. That when you go one-on-one and you have, because they can't use their talking points, because their talking points literally got us where we are right now, right? Don't vote for India because she's gonna do stuff. Don't vote for India because she's gonna pave the roads and try to get y'all jobs. I need y'all to be unemployed so you can depend on me.
Yo, why every time, this is why this seems unrelated, but this is why I don't fuck with a lot of TV. What you just did, you sound just like Jar Jar Binks. You remember Jar Jar Binks off the movie?
Oh yeah.
You sound just like that character. Yeah, I was mad as fuck at that character. I'm like, yo, I can't watch this movie. I feel like this is, I feel like that movie. I feel like they were doing that Jar Jar Binks shit like we were, like He's supposed to be a black character. I don't know. I was like, these motherfuckers. Is this blackface?
I mean,
Is this anime blackface? I ain't.
well, I mean, it's very intentional for me, man. I like because they are. It is blackface. It's black people in blackface. And listen. Is every single one of their policies bad? No. What can they easily fall back on? They can all fall back on voting rights, right? They're really aggressive about wanting us to vote, and let's not get this twisted. There is a very sinister plot from the GOP to make sure that black people in urban centers cannot vote. That is a real thing. That is a very strong thing. Being working for New Georgia Project as former chief of staff of that organization, I know firsthand that voting is very important. So when I say my next statement, do not take this in the wrong way. Do not think that I don't believe in voting. But of course they want us to vote. Because when they have had historic turnout for moderates, they want to make sure your black ass vote for them over and over and over again so they can stay where they are.
Facts.
Right? But voting is not an issue. Voting is a right. Voting has become an issue, but voting is a right. We already can vote, right? We don't have reparations yet. It's a very big difference. We don't have a federal jobs guarantee yet. We don't have Medicare for all yet. We don't have basic things that we need that are policy points and issues to run on. So every Democratic politician can always go back to the well and say, they're trying to take your right to vote. If that's your talking point and you don't push anything forward, then you capping. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
For those viewers who don't know what capping is, please explain your urban vernacular.
Capping is lying. And I started using that terminology since I moved to Atlanta and started Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. When we first started this thing, I didn't say that, but now I say it a lot. Y'all capping. Voting is not a policy. Yeah, you full of cap. You full of cap, Mondale. Hey, no. So I mean, like, just understand that you automatically make the Clyburns of the world uncomfortable. You automatically make the Browns of the world uncomfortable when you start talking about any kind of redistribution of wealth. How do you think that they got to these positions? I mean, they're animals of a system that I'm not going to say they're not animals of a system that's not their fault. They chose to play in that system, but they're animals of a system that really was created way before them. Financing, right? Making sure you have enough money to run your campaign, right? All this stuff means that you think you owe favors to folks, right? And those folks who give you money for your campaign, they want to make sure that they still get the same kind of incentives, financial benefits off of your term as a 4-term mayor of Buffalo. And if that means that I'm a landlord that owns 20 properties that haven't been fixed and corrected, and there's broken ACs, and you are letting me slide, and all I gotta do is pay you $5,000, and you won't have to, and you will stop city council for forcing me to fix things for the people who live in my building. That's money well spent. And as long as those people who live in my building keep voting for you, that's real good money well spent. So what is the issue? I want to have heat in the winter, or I want you to vote. Well, don't talk about the heat in the winter part. Just talk about them voting.
Just talk about the voting.
That's the best way I can explain it. That's the best way I can explain it. Clyburn can mention, Republicans and what the Republicans are doing. Well, as that brother pointed out in that meeting with Clyburn, what are you doing? Every constituency, every single constituency seems like they are getting something from government. We got a $600 check. That's it. And believe it or not, we didn't even asked for a $600 check. Didn't we ask for $2,000? What didn't they say it was $1,600 that we were going to get, and they only gave us a $600 check? Am I correct on that? Okay. Weren't they talking about police reform?
Yeah, right.
Dude, Biden got elected, and there's more police now. That's right. That's right, Terry.
Now, check this out. They also gave people at state government level the ability to use, you ready for this? The ability to use their PPP money to hire more police. I mean, not PPP, sorry. What do you call it? COVID relief money that was sent to states. All of it that's not been used can be now sent to police departments to hire more police. Ain't that some shit? Especially when you consider that if you are a black man, you are one of those populations where you're one of those demographics where your COVID numbers are going up, not down. Your COVID numbers are going up, not down. It's pretty tragic in here, my friend.
Hey, let's call it. Hey, folks, thank you for watching Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap today. Please join us on our AMA tomorrow night on our Patreon channel. We will be joined by our brother Ben Dixon. I'm trying to get my life right here. Hold on one second, Mondale. But Mondale, where can they find you at?
Mondale Robinson on all social media platforms and Black Male Voter Project.
All right. Cool.
So let me just make sure they're clear. We are on Patreon tomorrow. So if you're one of our Patreon members, we're gonna do an Ask Me Anything tomorrow night. So super excited. It's been a while since we put some content over there. So if you haven't joined Patreon, please join. If you already joined, then you know it's gonna be some crazy shit going on in that Patreon tomorrow. It is not news. It's Ask Me Anything.
That's right.
It should be an AUA. Ask Us Anything.
Yeah. It has been a while. I hope this is. I hope folks actually, take their time and kick it with us. It's been a minute. You can find me at Marcus for America at gmail.com. I mean, I said Gmail because that is my email. Don't dox me. Dox myself. You can find me at Marcus for America on. Actually, that's not my email. You can find me at Marcus for America on Twitter, Instagram. You can find me at and please go to my Instagram page for our Black-owned cannabis store, Restorative Roots. Our store is now up, I believe. You can go and order our T-shirts and all that good old jazz. And also, if you would mind, after you go and see this show right here, make sure that you feel free to go over there and check out Ben Dixon and the family over there. And with that being said, thanks for joining our show. You got anything else, Mondale?
I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, definitely Tuesday. Remember, it's creeps out here. So be careful.
That's right.
Be careful.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.